Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more stories in English. Many people dream of becoming fluent in English. I remember being a student like you, eager to speak English well. I wanted to be confident, but I was shy and often made mistakes. Then one day, a teacher told me something that changed everything. If you practice every day, fluency will come. That sentence stayed with me. When you truly desire something, you must be willing to work for it. Fluency doesn't happen overnight. It's like growing a tree. You plant a seed, water it, give it sunlight, and care for it daily. Slowly, that seed grows into something strong and beautiful. Language learning is no different. One day, a student came to me feeling discouraged. "Teacher," she said, "I want to speak English, but I keep forgetting words." I reassured her, "Don't worry, being fluent isn't about knowing every word. It's about consistent practice." With hope in her eyes, she asked, "But how do I practice?" I told her, "Practice is everywhere. Chat with your friends in English, listen to stories, sing songs. You can find ways to practice throughout your day." Back when I was in school, I loved listening to stories. My teacher would read to us, and I'd repeat the words. I started slowly, but over time, I became faster and more confident. I learned new vocabulary, and my self-esteem grew. Another student once asked me, "Is fluency just about speaking quickly?" I answered, "Not at all. Fluency means expressing yourself clearly and making others understand you. You don't need to rush, you need to speak with confidence." There was once a boy in my class who spoke very fast, but no one could follow him. I advised him to slow down, use simple words, and speak clearly. He did, and soon people understood him better. His confidence soared, and he started enjoying conversations. Fluency is a journey. It happens step by step. You don't need to hurry. Enjoy the process. One day, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. I've seen many students who were afraid to speak at first, but with time and effort, they found their voice. There's a simple secret to becoming fluent: listening. Listen to how others speak. Pay attention to stories, songs, and conversations. The more you listen, the more you learn. I once knew a girl who adored music. She listened to English songs daily and eventually began to sing along. Her fluency improved because she was actively listening and repeating. Another key point: don't be afraid of making mistakes. Mistakes are powerful teachers. I had a student who avoided speaking because she feared being laughed at. I told her, "Mistakes are part of learning." One day, she decided to speak in class. She made several mistakes, but she didn't stop. Over time, she improved. Thinking in English also helps greatly. When your thoughts are in English, your speech becomes more natural. I had a student who always translated from his native language into English. This made him slow and hesitant. I suggested he start thinking in English, even when alone. Eventually, he became much more fluent. There was another student who loved to talk, but he often switched languages mid-sentence. I encouraged him to stick to English. Even if he didn't know a word, he could describe it. This helped him stay in the flow, and he soon stopped switching languages. Reading is another powerful tool. When you read, you see how sentences are structured and discover new vocabulary. I remember reading simple books as I learned. Each time I found a new word, I'd write it down and use it in a sentence. This helped me remember and apply it in conversation. A student once told me she had read a book but didn't understand all of it. I told her that was perfectly fine. The more you read, the more you'll understand. She kept reading daily and later told me, "Now I understand so much more." Her fluency improved because of that dedication. Recording yourself is another great way to practice. I had a student who recorded herself reading stories every day. Then she listened carefully to find where she could improve. Over time, she became more self-aware and fluent. Practicing with a friend is also very effective. I knew two students who decided to only speak English with each other. They helped one another with vocabulary, and soon both of them were speaking fluently. Using English in real-life situations is essential. One of my students worked at a shop. He challenged himself to speak only in English with customers. At first, it was tough, but he gained confidence and his fluency improved quickly. Curiosity also fuels fluency. Whenever you hear a new word, don't ignore it. Look it up, learn it, and try to use it. I had a student who did this every day, and his vocabulary expanded quickly. Having a clear goal is just as important. Ask yourself why you want to become fluent. One of my students wanted to travel to an English-speaking country. That goal pushed her to practice every day, and she achieved fluency before her trip. Also, enjoy the learning process. Fluency takes time, but if you love what you're doing, the journey becomes easier. I had a student who watched English movies every night. At first, he used subtitles, then he started watching without them. He was entertained and learning at the same time. Repetition is key. The more you repeat, the more you remember. I had a student who would hear a sentence and repeat it again and again. Soon, he was using those phrases naturally in conversation. Talking to different people also helps. Everyone has a unique way of speaking. One shy student of mine only spoke to me. I encouraged him to talk to others. He was nervous, but eventually became more comfortable and improved his fluency. Choose topics that interest you. It makes conversation easier. One student loved football and spoke about it every day. Because he was passionate, words came more easily, and his fluency improved. Accept that you won't always know every word, and that's okay. I had a student who would stop talking if he didn't know a specific word. I encouraged him to describe what he meant instead. This kept conversations flowing, even without perfect vocabulary. A student once asked, "How long does it take to become fluent?" I told him, "It depends on how much you practice." Some people see progress in a few months, others take longer, but persistence always pays off. Practicing in front of a mirror can also boost your confidence. One student was too shy to speak in front of others. I suggested she practice by speaking to herself in the mirror. This helped her build confidence. Another asked, "What should I do if I forget a word while speaking?" I told him, "Don't stop, keep talking. The word may come to you, or you can find another way to express your idea. Take breaks when needed. Overworking your brain can lead to frustration." One student practiced non-stop and felt burnt out. I told her to rest and come back with a fresh mind. Her motivation and fluency returned. Be creative with your practice. Write a short story, sing a song, or make a video. One of my students wrote stories in English every day. Eventually, she began reading them aloud. This boosted both her vocabulary and her fluency. Teaching others can also reinforce your own learning. A fluent student of mine started helping her friends with English. By teaching, she improved even more. Creating a routine helps you stay consistent. One student practiced for 30 minutes every morning. This daily habit led to significant progress. Patience is crucial. Progress might be slow, but it's still progress. I had a student who got frustrated when he didn't improve quickly. I told him, "Be patient, keep going, you're improving, even if it's not obvious yet." Fluency involves listening as much as speaking. A student of mine was an excellent listener. He always paid attention before responding, which made his conversations clearer and more thoughtful. Maintaining a positive attitude also helps. One student always smiled, even when she made mistakes. Her positivity kept her motivated and helped her become fluent. Sometimes you have to step outside your comfort zone. A student who was confident in class was shy outside. I encouraged her to speak English outside school. Over time, she became more comfortable. Learn from fluent speakers, notice how they speak, and try to imitate them. I had a student who admired a famous English speaker. She watched his videos and practiced his style. It helped her greatly. Fluency is like cooking. It needs various ingredients: practice, patience, mistakes, listening, and speaking. I told my students this once, and they understood that every step matters. Celebrate your small victories. One student celebrated every new word she learned. This made her feel proud and kept her going. If you get stuck while speaking, it's okay to pause. One student learned to pause, breathe, and then continue. It helped him stay calm and fluent. Use new words in real conversations soon after learning them. I had a student who made it a point to use each new word in a sentence the next day. It helped him retain vocabulary. Look for learning opportunities everywhere, even in street signs, menus, and posters. A student of mine loved exploring the city and reading signs. He learned practical vocabulary that way. Understanding the culture behind the language also helps. One student was fascinated by British culture. Watching UK shows helped him understand accents and expressions better. Body language enhances your fluency too. I had a student whose gestures added meaning to his words. Even when his vocabulary was basic, he communicated clearly. Challenge yourself with new topics. One sports-loving student decided to talk about science. It was hard at first, but he learned quickly. Relaxation helps your words flow more naturally. A tense student learned to breathe deeply before speaking. It made a big difference. Asking questions is another great way to improve. One student always asked about others' hobbies and thoughts. This habit led to better fluency through real conversations. Reflect on your progress often. One student kept a journal, writing weekly updates about his learning. It helped him stay motivated. Be flexible. If someone doesn't understand you, explain it another way. I had a student who was great at rephrasing. This made him easier to understand and improved his fluency. Connect with others who are learning. A student joined an English club and practiced regularly. She stayed motivated and improved quickly. Set achievable goals. Instead of saying, I want to be fluent, try, I'll learn 5 new words this week. Small wins build confidence. Keep going, even when it gets tough. One student wanted to quit, but he didn't. Eventually, he noticed big improvements. Review old lessons now and then. A student of mine reread her notes every month. This helped her remember and apply what she'd learned. Stay open-minded. Different people speak English in different ways. A student who explored various accents became more adaptable. Find what you love about English: books, songs, movies. A student who loved poetry read it every day. Her passion fueled her fluency. Ask for feedback often. One student always asked me how he did after speaking. This helped him grow faster. Flashcards can help with vocabulary. One student created flashcards for every new word and reviewed them daily. It worked. Be okay with silence. Sometimes you need a moment to think. One student was afraid of pauses. I told him it's okay to take your time. Learning phrases instead of individual words helps. A student focused on phrases and became more natural in her speech. Be curious about the world. When you learn about new ideas, you have more to say. One student loved history and became fluent by talking about what he learned. Fluency isn't just about speaking, it's about connecting. Every word you learn is a bridge to new ideas and friendships. Keep practicing, keep speaking, your voice matters. Now I want to ask you, what inspires you to continue your journey toward fluency? I'd love to hear your answer.